It's the first adult science fantasy anthology series to appear on American television, and it is still capable of shocking audiences today. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be taking a look at the history of
The Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone was an entertaining and thought-provoking collection of stories on the human condition, and it was introduced to audiences on October 2nd, 1959. The show was created by Rod Serling, who was a novelist and fan of earlier works of pulp fiction. Serling drew inspiration for his show from the radio programs The Weird Circle and X-1, as well as the television series Tales of Tomorrow and science fiction theater. The Twilight Zone's focus on serious science fiction allowed its writers to get away with making harsh social commentary on contemporary topics.
Well, that's funny.
What is?
Why, Arthur?
Why not? I was born in this country.
Sure, I didn't mean anything.
I'm as just as much American as anybody.
Well, now, who said you're not?
In fact, the title itself was used as a military term for a moral and strategic gray area. Had it not been for the show's skill at masking its real-life focus with fiction, it would have been forbidden from making its way to countless living rooms across the United States. Among the many societal issues addressed by the show were the topics of human nature, racism, government, and war. Upon its release, The Twilight Zone caused audiences to think about the world around them.
Exit Mr. John Rhodes, formerly a reflection in a mirror, a fragment of someone else's conscience, a wishful thinker made out of glass, but now made out of flesh, and on his way to join the company of men. Mr. John Rhodes with 1 foot through the door and 1 foot out of the Twilight Zone.
And as a result, it became enormously popular. It also contained an unpredictable mixture of self-contained drama, fantasy, science fiction, suspense, and horror. Not only that, but the anthology series also treated audiences to something they hadn't experienced before. The Twilight Zone often featured twist endings and grim outcomes that were not neatly resolved.
Mr. Patrick Thomas McNulty, who had a gift of time. He used it and he misused it. And now he's just been handed the bill. Tonight's tale of Motion and McNulty in The Twilight Zone.
Plus, its self-contained structure allowed for many different actors and stars of the time to make guest appearances. The original series ran from 1959 to 1964, and following its success, the show had many spin-offs. These included a radio series, a comic book, a magazine, live theater productions, video games, and Steven Spielberg's 1983 feature film adaptation, Twilight Zone: The Movie. In fact, even years after its run, the show was so popular that it was given 2 series refreshes, one in 1985 and another in 2002. They all continue to run in syndication today. The Twilight Zone is best remembered for its revolutionary approach to storytelling, dark subject matter, dramatic soundtrack, and narrator. Because of these classic elements, it remains a popular source of inspiration for modern science fiction and psychological horror.
The poles of fear, the extremes of how the earth might conceivably be doomed. Minor exercise in the care and feeding of a nightmare. Respectfully submitted by all the thermometer watchers in The Twilight Zone.